In the 6th year since I fell into the sea and disappeared, the golden-haired princess received a call from the police station. Ms. Su, your daughter is at the International Airport Police Station. Please bring the relevant documents and come to verify as soon as possible. He happened to be in a meeting with his phone on speaker. All the senior executives present heard the call. Shocked, he frowned. Wrong number, I'm single. Click. She hung up decisively. Beep beep. The phone rang again. The officer said helplessly, Ms. Su, this child looks almost exactly like you. If you don't believe me, come see for yourself. As he finished speaking, a soft, childish crying voice came through the phone. Mommy, I'm scared. Come pick me up. Thinking of something, she suddenly stood up. Said meeting postponed and walked out, leaving a group of executives bewildered. They said that since 6 years ago, after her husband and newborn baby fell into the sea, she drank herself into a stomach bleed within a month and nearly didn't survive. Now suddenly she has a child again. When she rushed over, she saw a soft little bunny held by a female officer, blinking big eyes at the door. When she saw her come in, tears instantly welled up. With a pitiful expression, she started crying. The little bunny reached out her hands to her while crying. Mommy, hold me. Her eyes were very red, as if asking someone. Everyone present looked at the big and small figures, both in appearance and crying. They were identical. Saying they weren't mother and daughter was too far-fetched. The assistant beside her nodded like a pecking chicken, and answered firmly. Similar, at least 50 to 60%. No, 70 to 80% similar. She walked over and hugged the little bunny. Her voice choked. How did you know I'm your mommy? The little bunny wrapped her arms around her neck. Daddy hid your photo under his pillow, and secretly looked at it every night. I saw it, with your phone number and address, so I came on my own. Her tears instantly fell. The little bunny looked at the two adults, rolled her eyes at them for being slow. What's there to doubt? Want to know if I'm your daughter? It's very simple. We can just do a DNA test together. Oku, if I weren't your daughter, I wouldn't bother calling you mommy. When you get old, I'd have to take care of you and bury you. That would be asking for trouble. Su Wanqing wiped the tears from her eyes, pouted and snorted coldly. There are plenty of people who want me as their mom. You might not even be qualified. What's your father's name? No comment. The little bunny was very proud, turned her face away, unwilling to engage. Take her back first. Su Wanqing finished and tossed the little bunny from her hands, but didn't throw her to the ground. She threw her into Lin Zhou's arms. Lin Zhou held the loudly crying bunny, and quickly followed Su Wanqing's steps, walked out of the police station and got into a Rolls Royce, heading towards the Su family villa, at a large specialized hospital in the capital of Engwo. On the 16th floor, a heart transplant surgery was underway. In the operating room, I wore sterile surgical attire, with disposable sterile latex gloves and a cap. My eyes above the medical mask looked slightly tired. My assistant kept using a white handkerchief to wipe the sweat from my forehead. This surgery had been going on for nearly 10 hours. As the lead surgeon, I had been at my pot, without a moment's rest. Finally, the last stitch pierced the patient's skin, and I tied a perfect knot. I let out a long sigh of relief. This 10-hour surgery ended successfully. I was really exhausted. I just wanted to go home and take a hot bath, then sleep beautifully, and also pick up my precious daughter. Walking to the elevator, my phone suddenly rang loudly. I didn't even look. Answered the phone while pressing the elevator button. Chen Yuan, you finally answered the phone. The person on the other end was so anxious they couldn't speak. Nianqi is my daughter's nickname. She's almost 6, lively and cute, mischievous but also very sensitive. If I'm away for 2 days without contacting her, she'll think I've abandoned her for someone new, and start playing the runaway game with me. This time, due to work, I was away for 2 or 3 days, worried the nanny couldn't handle her. I had no choice but to entrust her to my brother Jiangyu, thinking he's her godfather. It wouldn't be too hard to watch her. I gently comforted the anxious Jiangyu on the phone. Ah you, what's wrong with Nianqi? Go ahead, did she break your flower pot? Or damage your computer? Neither. Then did she spill ink on your new sneakers again? Wait for me, I'll be right back. 15 minutes later, I opened the door and walked in. Just at the entrance, Jiangyu heard the door open, and rushed in front of me in a flash, kneeling on the ground, hugging my leg. Chen Yuan, I'm so it's all my fault. I let you down. You can hit me or scold me, whatever. Ah you, what are you doing? Get up. Confused, I bent down to help him up. Jiangyu held my leg, refusing to let go or get up. Chen Yuan, promise me, no matter what happens, don't ignore me. Don't abandon me. Oko, I promise. Now get up. I'm very tired and don't have the energy to play with you. Where's Nianqi? I'll make her apologize. A helpless smile appeared on my face. Every time I ask him to watch Nianqi for more than 2 days, he acts like this, all dramatic. In these 5 years, he hasn't changed a bit. When Jiangyu heard me ask, he immediately let go of my leg, stood up and obediently stood in the corner, head down, not moving, like a child who did something wrong, waiting for a scolding. Chen Yuan, I'm telling you, you have to stay calm. Nianqi went back to Huahua. This is the note she left. Jiangyu, with trembling hands, handed me a crumpled piece of paper. What? I took it, opened the paper with my trembling left hand. On it were a few crooked lines. Dad, godfather, I've gone back to Huahua. If I don't see you within 24 hours, I'll call the police and report you for abandonment, and I'll also take that scumbag woman to court. This is Nianqi's handwriting. I concluded from the note she left. Nianqi feels abandoned, like a neglected child, so she ran away from home, back to that place that broke my heart. If it weren't for my daughter by my side these years, I would have died in Huahua 6 years ago. Died on that rainy night. Died in that unhappy marriage. I shook my head, pushed aside the distracting thoughts, and questioned Jiangyu. Nianqi said she was abandoned. Didn't I tell you to watch her carefully? You weren't home with her. I went out for 2 hours yesterday for something. She was watching cartoons, so I didn't take her. I left her home alone. When I came back, she was gone. Only a note was left. Jiangyu's voice grew quieter, not daring to meet my eyes. Nianqi is a sensitive child. You shouldn't have left her alone at home. It makes her feel like she's unwanted, abandoned by us. I took a few deep breaths, forced myself to calm down, thinking Nianqi went back to Huahua. That woman I despise is also there. Worried they might meet. I turned around in a panic and walked towards the 2nd floor. Jiangyu saw my expression was off. Worried something might happen to me. He followed. Chen Yuan, don't be sad or angry. I'll help you find her. I know my daughter's nature. I don't blame Jiangyu in my heart. I continued walking upstairs. Did you track her flight? Are you sure it's to Huahua? I also checked the cameras near my house. She left half an hour after I did. The airline replied, she used your ID for the unaccompanied minor service, and the flight arrived in Huahua 5 hours ago. I also verified with Huahua International Airport. She did arrive at the airport. In the waiting room, She said she needed to use the restroom and never came back. Later, the airport staff checked the surveillance and saw her leaving the terminal with a young woman. I went to the study, put my phone aside, opened the computer and sat at the desk, typed furiously on the keyboard. A red dot appeared on the screen, stopped at a place in the center of Haishar. No sign of movement. I kept zooming in on the map on the screen until I saw the label Donghua. My whole body froze. It must be a coincidence. Nianxi couldn't know her own background. Maybe the woman who took Nianxi away just happens to lie in Donghua. Debt, it must be. I forced my racing heart back down. No, I have to bring Nianxi back as soon as possible. The longer it takes, the more dangerous. If Su Wanqing finds out her daughter didn't die, knowing her personality, she'll stop at nothing to take custody of Nianxi from me. Then I'd be finished. Thinking this, I hurried back to the master bedroom, packing clothes, while instructing Jiangyu. Ah, you, book me a flight to Huaghua. The soonest one, the faster the better. Donghua. Little Nianxi sat on the wide leather sofa, her big eyes rolling around, looking around. Mommy, you don't look poor. You seem very rich. Your house is much bigger than mine and Daddy's. Since you're so rich, why did you abandon your husband and daughter? Don't you lie my daddy? Su Wanqing's temples throbbed. Her face was cold and frightening, sitting opposite little Nianxi. Little girl, let's talk. Nianxi sat up straight, blinking her cute big eyes, and asked innocently, aren't we talking now? You haven't answered my question. Su Wanqing's eyes were deep as she studied the child before her. Before I answer your question, shouldn't you first tell me your name? And your daddy's name? What does he do? What does he look like? Nianxi remained unyielding, staring back at the noble woman before her. Mommy, are you trying to trick me? Don't you know who my daddy is? Looks like you have too many men around you, and forgot my daddy. You're a scumbag. Su Wanqing's brows were almost knitted into a frown. Looks like you don't want to talk nicely. Her voice was cold and scary. Wrong. You're the one who doesn't want to answer my questions. You haven't answered me either. Nianxi pouted, her eyes fierce and cute as she stared back. Not scared at all. Little thing, you're challenging my limits. Su Wanqing snorted coldly, her deep eyes like a cold pool, sending chills down the spine. Old woman, should I challenge you then? Nianxi put on a stern face and replied coldly. Their eyes met. The big and small figures faced off like this, neither willing to back down. Standing nearby, Special Assistant Lin Zhou watched the confrontation between the two. In both demeanor and appearance, they looked like mother and daughter. Couldn't help but want to laugh. This little miss really is fearless. Probably only she dares to go against the eldest miss. Su Wanqing's patience was exhausted. She didn't want to waste time with a suddenly appearing child, or waste more words. She raised her slender fingers to rub her temples, her face cold as she looked at the suppressing smile of Lin Zhou. I give you 3 minutes to find out where this child came from. 3 minutes? The eldest miss really knows how to talk. The eldest miss herself doesn't know when she had a child, yet she wants me to investigate. Where can I find out in such a short time? Lin Zhou fumed inwardly, but only dared to complain in his heart, looking troubled. Eldest miss, maybe you could think back a bit more. Give me a little hint. Su Wanqing rolled her eyes at Lin Zhou in displeasure. If I knew, why would I need you to investigate? But 3 minutes is really too short. I'm not a search engine. I probably can't find out. Lin Zhou pleaded with his eyes. Su Wanqing was already furious with Nianxi's attitude, and now Lin Zhou was adding to the trouble. She stood up from the sofa with a start, and said angrily, get lost. If you can't find out, don't sleep tonight. Det, eldest miss. Lin Zhou was on the verge of tears, outwardly respectful and obedient, inwardly gritting his teeth and complaining. Su Wanqing watched Lin Zhou leave, stood up from the sofa, and walked towards the wine cabinet, leaving little Nianxi alone on the sofa. She walked with long legs to the wine cabinet, took out a bottle of red wine, opened it, and poured a glass. Holding the wine glass, she stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the night view below, her expression dark and unreadable. Beep beep beep. A phone rang loudly, breaking Su Wanqing's reverie. She took out her phone, looked at the number on the screen, her brows slightly furrowed, pressed the answer button, and turned on speaker. Habitually tossed the phone onto the windowsill. A magnetic male voice came through the phone. Wanqing, I'm back in the country. I miss you. When do you have time? I want to see you. Su Wanqing rubbed her temples and replied flatly. I'm busy. No time. Her voice was flat, without a trace of warmth. Wanqing, it's been 6 years. Can't you still let go? Wanqing, please don't treat me like this, Oku. I really can't hold on much longer. The voice on the phone grew sadder. Wen Jingran, I made it very clear to you 6 years ago. You should know. Impatience flashed across Su Wanqing's face. I don't believe you can be so heartless to me. Wanqing, clearly I was the one you liked first. The man on the phone seemed a bit out of control. His emotions were agitated. But why did you end up marrying another man? Su Wanqing cut him off decisively. Wen Jingran, it's all in the past. Is it? Wanqing, it's been 6 years. You haven't changed a bit. For her sake, you keep hurting me, ignoring me completely. The voice on the phone kept pressing, refusing to let it go. You're not worthy to mention her. She was the most innocent one. Su Wanqing's face turned cold, her tone clearly displeased. A cold aura kept emanating from her. He quickly interrupted her. I'm sorry, Wanqing. It's all my fault. I was wrong. I just had some drinks and was rambling. Don't be mad at me, Oku. The man on the phone was very humble, carefully trying to please Su Wanqing. Since you've been drinking, get some rest. Su Wanqing finished speaking, without waiting for a response. She hung up without hesitation. The phone rang twice more. Su Wanqing didn't even look, just hung up, and didn't answer again. Nianxi watched her back. Her impression of this scumbag woman worsened. She can't even remember who her daddy is. Daddy and she have a cute little Nianxi, who everyone loves. That call, though short, was heard entirely by Nianxi. From the conversation, it was easy to deduce. The man on the phone was this scumbag mom's lover, ex-boyfriend. Was the her they mentioned referring to her daddy? If it really was daddy, then that man on the phone interfered in mommy and daddy's marriage and destroyed their family. Did they even flirt in front of daddy? She was so angry. No wonder daddy raised her all alone. This hypocritical scumbag woman was really unreliable. She felt so for her daddy. Did you treat daddy like this too? Not coming home at night, not answering his calls, leaving him alone and sad. Nianxi suddenly stood on the sofa, looking at Su Wanqing's back, and directly asked, what? Su Wanqing was surprised, turned around and saw the little girl standing on the sofa. Her mind went blank for a second, then she snapped back. When she was on the phone, she had completely forgotten about this little girl, letting her hear things she shouldn't. Little girl, I'll say it again. I don't know your father. You must have the wrong person. Tell me your father's name, and I'll send you back. Her patience was completely gone. She didn't want to argue with this little kid anymore. I'll say it again. I'm not telling you. You're not worthy to know my daddy's name. When the police sentence you, I'll leave here and never talk to you again. Nianqi gritted her teeth in anger, then plopped back down on the sofa, hugging a pillow, pouting and refusing to speak. The reason she was staying with Su Wanqing and arguing was for two reasons. First, Su Wanqing insisted on bringing her back. It was too dark, and she didn't want to sleep in the cold police station, so she followed her back. Second, she originally planned to avenge her daddy and seek justice. Once Su Wanqing was sentenced and received her due punishment, she would go back to Engwo. Daddy was her true law. For someone who doesn't cherish daddy, she didn't care about them. Su Wanqing looked at Nianqi's angry expression, feeling strangely familiar, but couldn't remember where she'd seen it. Just as the two were at odds, the apartment door was pushed open from outside. An auntie in her 40s or 50s came in. Eldest miss, you called for me? Luma, wait. I need to go out for something. Stay here tonight and watch over this little girl. Su Wanqing finished instructing and stopped dwelling on that familiar feeling. Walked up the stairs. Luma heard Su Wanqing's instructions, looked around, and saw the little bunny curled up on the sofa, opened her mouth in surprise. Is this the little miss? Oh my god, you really answered my prayers. Our eldest miss has a child now. She looks just like the eldest miss when she was little. Lie, two peas in a pod. Su Wanqing's foot had just stepped on the stairs when she heard Luma praising the little girl, stopped and turned to look at them, and asked another soul-searching question. Does she really look like me? Det. She really does look like you. I'm not lying. Luma was beaming with joy, muttering with certainty, but looking closely, she also looks a bit like the master. Su Wanqing heard Luma's affirmative answer, and began to doubt Nianqi's background. Then she vaguely heard Luma mention the master. Her guard went up, raised her voice and demanded, what did you say? She was just too shocked, and didn't mean to blame her. Luma heard the eldest miss's voice rise, and immediately realized she had gotten too excited seeing the little miss, and accidentally let it slip. For the past 6 years, the master had been the eldest miss's taboo. No one dared to mention him lightly, or the eldest miss would get angry. She quickly explained carefully, maybe my eyes are failing, and I saw wrong, eldest miss. Please don't take it to heart. Luma's careless remark immediately caught Su Wanqing's attention. She withdrew her foot, turned around, and walked to the sofa, picked up Nianqi in one go, and scrutinized her with sharp eyes. Her mind kept flashing the handsome face of her husband Lu Qinyuan. The eyes and lips were somewhat similar, the rest didn't met. Most importantly, their expressions and subconscious actions were extremely similar. Their demeanor was so consistent. The way they looked when angry, the way they looked when happy, the way they spoke, as the similarities kept overlapping and slowly merged together. Su Wanqing couldn't help but notice. They really looked like Lu Qinyuan. Is it really you? Could there really be such a coincidence in this world? Nianqi seemed to deliberately remind, blinking her soft, cute big eyes, looking at this kind grandmother. Grandma, who is this master you mentioned? Luma saw Su Wanqing standing not far away, hesitating for a long time. I didn't know how to answer. Finally, a bright idea struck. I simply changed the subject. I'm just a nanny. Can't call me grandma. Then I'll call you Grandma Lu from now on. Daddy said kids should be polite, respect the elderly, and love the young. Grandma Lu. Just call me Xiao Nianqi. Xiao Nianqi's voice was soft and sweet. Even though she could be mischievous sometimes, she always remembered Daddy's words. Luma heard Nianqi say that. Her heart warmed, and she kept saying, Oku, Oku, Oku. I like this little Nianqi more and more. Sweet-tongued and polite. Looks like his father raised her well. Grandma Lu, is the master you mentioned Mommy's husband? He must be very handsome, right? Xiao Nianqi's little mind turned. She brought the topic back around. Luma thought after talking so much, she had forgotten the earlier question, but she remembered it again. This put her in a tough spot. Luma, she must be hungry. Cook something for her. Su Wanqing snapped out of her SOC. She spoke up in time to help Luma. Oku, I'll go now. Luma got the order and scurried off to the kitchen. You did that on purpose. Xiao Nianqi raised her chin. She looked at the woman before her with displeasure, wanting to scratch her face. So what if I did? Don't you think you talk too much? Annoying, Su Wanqing said. Then she dropped the little girl on the sofa, turned and walked straight to the second floor. Mommy, you're so mean. This is the third time you've dropped me today. One day I'll find someone who can control you. Xiao Nianqi shouted angrily, watching Su Wanqing's back. She made a face. Half an hour later, Su Wanqing changed into casual clothes, came downstairs, walking and answering a phone call. A sharp female voice came from the other end. Miss Su, how long do we have to wait for you? When are you coming? Su Wanqing looked at her watch. Leaving now. I'll be at the usual place in 20 minutes. The person on the phone was about to hang up. Suddenly heard a childish voice. Mommy, it's so late. Are you going out? The person on the phone was shocked. Su Wanqing, when did you have a kid? Tonight. Su Wanqing said lightly. You're so fast tonight. In one night. You not only have a daughter, but she can call you mommy? The person on the phone couldn't believe it. She was shouting. Luma came out of the kitchen, carrying a bowl of noodles. Seeing Su Wanqing about to leave, she asked with a smile, Miss, there's not much in the fridge. I made Xiao Nianqi some beef noodles. Do you want some? There's still beef noodles in the pot. Your favorite. Luma thought since Nianqi was the young lady's daughter, she must lie them too. Su Wanqing walked toward the entrance without looking back. No, I'm going out. Call me if anything happens. Okay, Miss, Luma acknowledged. Mommy, do you have to go out tonight? Can't you stay home with me? Xiao Nianqi watched Su Wanqing open the door. She said softly, I really want Mommy to hold me while I sleep and tell me stories. Let Luma stay with you. Be good, don't cause trouble. Su Wanqing instructed Nianqi before leaving. Lie a strict mother. Luma saw Nianqi being clingy and smiled. She went over and took Nianqi's hand. Xiao Nianqi, Miss has to go out for business. Let Grandma Lu stay with you. Oku, let's wash our hands first and try the beef noodles I made. Xiao Nianqi smacked her lips. Her stomach growled loudly. Luma led Nianqi to the bathroom. Su Wanqing watched their backs, felt a strange reluctance in her heart, hesitating whether to leave. The person on the phone started shouting again. Oh my god, Su Wanqing really has a daughter. I heard Luma coaxing her. Su Wanqing, hurry up and come over, or we'll come to your place to see the little one. Su Wanqing imagined her friends' reactions when they saw Xiao Nianqi. They definitely scare the child. So she frowned and said, "Stop shouting. I'll be right there at the 6 a.m. room of the Never nightclub." Several stunning women sat on the sofa. Bang! The door was kicked open from outside. Su Wanqing walked in with a cold face. Went straight to a corner seat. "Second sister, should I have Wang Lin bring some handsome guys?" Lao Si Luogency saw Su Wanqing sit down, knowing she was the bot. Quickly asked. Wang Lin was the club's head waiter. He managed all the staff. Luogency was the Luo family's illegitimate daughter. She hated the Luo family the most. She always worked under Su Wanqing, managing all the Su family's entertainment venues. No need. Su Wanqing refused as usual. She had a cleanliness fetish and didn't lie men near her. Even her white moonlight, when Jingran, had never gotten close. The only one who could get close was her husband, who died 6 years ago. The others weren't surprised, because they had a lot to ask Su Wanqing, especially about the child who called her mommy on the phone. Considering the child's sudden appearance, afraid it would spread and damage the Su family's reputation, Luogency dismissed all the men from the room, leaving only the sisters. Song Yuran, the second Miss Song, was the youngest and the most impatient. She immediately went to Su Wanqing and pressed for answers. "Second sister, where did the little one come from? Who's her father?" "Don't know." Su Wanqing answered with 3 words. Song Yuran was full of doubt. "How can you not know about your own child?" "Really don't know." Su Wanqing replied perfunctorily again. "Second sister, your habit of being so tight-lipped. When will you change it? Especially now. Can you say a few more words about the little one?" Su Wanqing gave Song Yuran a dirty look. This time, she wouldn't give her a single word. Song Yuran gritted her teeth. "Won't tell me, huh? Then I'll find out myself. I'll visit tomorrow. Get close to the little one. I'm sure I'll find out the big secret." "Wanqing, what's going on? How did you suddenly get a daughter? You never mentioned it before." Meng Xinyu, the eldest Miss Meng, wore a high-end dress. She looked seriously at the silent Su Wanqing. She was the oldest of the 5, and the most composed. She was their big sister. "Yeah, second sister, just tell us. Don't keep us in suspense." Lao Si Luogency also chimed in. In their minds, Su Wanqing was the epitome of self-discipline. She hadn't been near a man in 6 years. Now suddenly having a daughter for no reason. It was really puzzling. Before Su Wanqing could answer, a voice sounded from outside the door. She picked her up at the airport. The person arrived before they were seen. Lao Sanchu Xan walked in from outside, looking at Su Wanqing with interest. She was in charge of entertainment media. Always well informed. "What's going on, third sister? Tell us." Song Yuran's eyes lit up instantly. She immediately sidled up to her. Lao Sanchu Xan vividly described the whole Shi, then took credit with Su Wanqing. "Second sister, don't worry. I've taken care of everything at the police station. All the records and files have been destroyed. No one will find any trace." Su Wanqing looked up at Lao San. Instead of praising her, she scolded. "You cleaned it all up? What if the child's father comes looking for her? He'll be a headless fly. He won't find her." "What do you mean, second sister? You don't know who the child's father is?" Chu Xian looked at Su Wanqing in disbelief. Su Wanqing didn't deny it. She really didn't know who Nianqi's biological father was. She vaguely felt it was related to Lu Chenyuan. But what she couldn't understand was, Lu Chenyuan died 6 years ago. She even went to collect his body herself. How could a dead man have raised her child? The only explanations were 2 possibilities. 1, Nianqi wasn't her child. 2, Lu Chenyuan never died. He was still alive. Either way, it was shocking enough for Su Wanqing. Wow, that's really strange. So even second sister is stumped. Looks lie to find the little one's father. We have to wait and see. Song Yuran was a bit gleeful, finally getting back at Su Wanqing for brushing her off. Meng Xinyu, who had been quiet, moved her lips, finally spoke. "Wanqing, is this child really yours?" "No, go get a DNA test done immediately. If she really is your child, no matter who her father is, you need to know." Meng Xinyu was 2 or 3 years older than Su Wanqing. She had always taken care of her since childhood. Su Wanqing considered Meng Xinyu her own sister. She could listen to her. "I know. I've already asked Linzhou to handle it." Before coming to the Never nightclub, Su Wanqing had put Nianqi's hair and her own in a bag and given it to Linzhou to secretly take to the Su family's hospital for a paternity test. Barring any accidents, she'd know the results in 3 days. Good. If she really is your kid, Pear will have someone to play with. Meng Xinyu was looking forward to it, hoping the child was Su Wanqing's, so her daughter wouldn't be lonely. Su Wanqing sat for a while longer. Her mind kept showing Nianqi's pitiful face. Her soft spot was touched. Worried Nianqi would be scared alone at home. After a moment's thought, Su Wanqing stood up and said goodbye. "You guys have fun. I'm going home. All tonight's expenses are on me. My treat." Then she walked out. "Second sister, why are you leaving so soon? We haven't even started yet." Song Yuran called after her, but it was no use. Meng Xinyu smiled and called Song Yuran back. "You won't be able to keep her tonight." She knew too well a mother's feeling of not being able to leave her child. When Su Wanqing returned to the apartment, Xiao Nianqi was already asleep, probably exhausted from the day's events. She was sleeping soundly, occasionally letting out soft snores. She stayed in the guest room where Nianqi slept, staring at her for a long time, until Lu Ma came in. Then she reluctantly left. She went back to her bedroom, picked up her phone, saw a missed call from an unknown number. She frowned slightly, called it back directly, but it was turned off. "That was me who called. When I found out Nianqi was missing, someone said this number could provide info on her. So I called. But when I called, Su Wanqing was on the phone with her white moonlight, and I was on a plane flying back to China. So we missed each other. The next morning at 9, I landed in China and walked out of the cabin, took a deep breath of the familiar air. A long-lost feeling washed over me. I was finally back. I composed myself, took out a pair of sunglasses and put them on. Even though most of my face was hidden, my aura was still exceptional. I pulled my suitcase to the waiting area, found a seat by the window and sat down, waiting for my apprentice, Chen Mayan, to arrive. Chen Mayan was a famous cardiologist in China, also the heir of the Chen family in China's business empire. China's business empire had 4 families, ranked by power and wealth. They were the Su, Meng, Chen, and Luo families. 3 years ago, I met Chen Mayan at a medical conference in the US. I was already a well-known heart specialist there. Once, when I spoke at a professional forum, Chen Mayan learned a lot from my speech, and willingly became my apprentice. I thought about returning to China. I didn't have to face annoying people and things, so I decided to contact Chen Mayan, and arranged to meet him at the airport. With his help, I could avoid unnecessary trouble. Su Wanqing and Linzhou also arrived at the airport. They were preparing to go abroad for work. Miss Our flight takes off in 30 minutes. Should we wait in the waiting room? Or find a coffee shop? Lin Zhou looked at his watch, seeking Su Wanqing's opinion. Su Wanqing coldly scanned the area. Finally, her gaze fixed on one spot. A strange emotion flickered in her eyes. Lin Zhou saw Su Wanqing stop, curiously asked, "Miss, what's wrong?" But Su Wanqing ignored him. Suddenly, she strode toward the waiting area. She walked quickly and urgently, as if she'd lose something precious if she was late. "Qin Yuan, is that you?" Lin Zhou followed Su Wanqing's gaze. A man and a woman stood in the airport waiting area. The man had his back to them, so they couldn't see his face. The woman, from behind, was tall, with a great figure. She was smiling, looking charming. That person was none other than the Su family's rival, Chen Mayan, the eldest Miss Chen. But what Lin Zhou couldn't understand was, when did his miss get so close to Miss Chen? Seeing her, she even took the initiative to greet her. Su Wanqing saw Chen Mayan's annoying face. Usually, she wouldn't even look at her. But today, the man beside her piqued her interest. Because his back looked exactly like her late husband. Lie, they were cut from the same mold. Su Wanqing spoke up as she approached, but her eyes were fixed on my back. "Miss Chen, what a coincidence, running into you here." Chen Mayan looked toward the voice, stared in surprise at the approaching Su Wanqing, wondering, had this woman taken the wrong medicine today? She was actually greeting her first, but she forced a smile. What a coincidence. Miss Su wasn't waiting for me, was she? Waiting for you? You're not worthy. Su Wanqing disdainfully looked away, then shifted her focus back to me. I'm here for him. Miss Chen, are you going to introduce us? Lin Zhou facepalmed. These two were still each other's throats as usual. When I heard Su Wanqing's voice, my body trembled almost imperceptibly. My heart was racing. I didn't expect on my first day back, just after getting off the plane, to run into Su Wanqing. As her footsteps approached, my heart felt like it was going to jump out of my chest. I quickly took a mask out of my bag and put it on. Looked around the door, trying to find a place to hide. But before I could recover, she was already standing in front of me. I kept telling myself, calm down, you have to stay calm. Don't let her see anything. Su Wanqing scrutinized the man before her. Big sunglasses covered the top half of my face. A mask covered the bottom half. I was completely covered. Even so, she felt a strange familiarity with the aura I gave off. Sir, there's no sun here. Do you need sunglasses? And the air quality in China is good. You don't need a mask. If she could get the man to take off his sunglasses and mask, Su Wanqing would know if he was the one she missed. I broke out in a cold sweat. Suddenly coughed a few times while covering my mouth. Pinched my voice and replied, "Sorry, I have the flu. It's contagious." Chen Mayan noticed my discomfort and my impatience with Su Wanqing. Quickly stepped in front of me. "Miss Su, she's a heart specialist I invited. She's lived abroad for years. Just arrived in China and isn't used to it yet. I'll take her away now. If Miss Su needs treatment for her heart, contact me later." With that, she grabbed my left arm to leave. Chen Mayan deliberately mentioned treating Su Wanqing's heart, implying her heart was so bad it needed fixing. Su Wanqing didn't have time to ponder Chen Mayan's words. Seeing the man about to leave, she panicked. In a hurry, she reached out and grabbed my right arm. The two of them started a tug-of-war with me, and I, the one being pulled, was furious. The hidden media around, originally there to catch a glimpse of a celebrity, unexpectedly saw the Su and Chen heiresses fighting over a man. This was a once-in-a-lifetime event, so they didn't hesitate, raised their cameras and snapped away. Even stranger, one news channel was doing a live broadcast. They aimed their camera at the airport entrance, capturing all three of us in the frame. Viewership numbers skyrocketed from a few thousand to tens of millions. The comments were scrolling non-stop. Is that Miss Su and Miss Chen? Can the man in the middle take off his sunglasses and mask? The broadcast was on both TV and the internet. It spread fast. Most of Haisha knew that the Mrs. Su and Chen were fighting over a man at the airport. What I didn't know was, my plan to return quietly, without a trace, was ruined by this live broadcast. Haisha was in an uproar, and I, the one involved, had made a grand entrance. Xiao Nianxi woke up in the morning. Mommy was no longer in the apartment. Only she and Grandma Lu were there. After breakfast with Grandma Lu, she turned on the TV out of boredom. Suddenly, a familiar figure caught her eye. Actually, two figures. One was her irresponsible mom. The other was her daddy, whom she recognized anywhere. Daddy is in China too. Is he here for me? Xiao Nianxi talked to herself while watching. Looking at the background, they must be at the airport. Daddy just saw the plane. But why is Mommy there too? Who's that woman next to Daddy? Xiao Nianxi was getting more confused. Finally, she focused on Chen Mayan. This woman who suddenly appeared is pretty. She can be on Daddy's backup list. Xiao Nianxi thought. She put the remote aside, watched the live broadcast to see what would happen. The door to the side room opened and closed. A man dressed like a around 20 years old, with messy hair. He was Su Wanqing's twin brother, Su Yanxi. The man walked straight to the sofa, lay down lazily and closed his eyes to sleep. He had been partying with friends all night. Now he was tired and sleepy. Xiao Nianxi looked at his outfit, remembered what I had told her. People dressed like that were usually thugs. She should stay away. Which little bug came to my house to cause trouble? The smell of alcohol is bothering Xiao Nianxi. Su Yanxi was about to fall asleep when he heard a soft, cute voice. He immediately opened his eyes, was startled by the miniature version of his sister's face. He shouted, "Ghost," and rolled off the sofa, landing on the floor with a thud. He winced in pain. Xiao Nianxi reached out her chubby little hand, rubbed her ears. With a disgusted look, so noisy, Su Yanxi stared at the little girl in disbelief. Her disgusted expression was exactly like her sister's. If he remembered correctly, his sister should be on a plane to Norway right now. But who was this kid who looked so much like her? Had his sister become young again? If that were true, he could finally bully her and get revenge. Get back all the oppression he'd suffered for 20 years. Su Yanxi got happier the more he thought about it. Su Yanxi gets happier the more he thinks about it. He chuckled absent-mindedly, lost in his thoughts. Xiao Nianxi looked at the man in front of her with disgust. "Idiot, move it," she said, displeased. "You're blocking the TV. What did you call me? Idiot?" Su Yanxi felt like a bucket of cold water was poured over him. He instantly sobered up. Xiao Nianxi put on a stern face. She said coldly, "Go back to where you came from. Don't bother me here." Her tone and manner were exactly like Su Wanqing's. "Did you eat something bad? Let me take you to the hospital. Medical science is so advanced now. We'll definitely turn you back to normal." Su Yanxi was now certain the child in front of him was his sister. He was terrified inside. His drowsiness vanished instantly. Xiao Nianxi couldn't take it anymore. She shot him a cold glare. Shut up. Su Yanxi flinched in fear. He immediately clamped his mouth shut. Xiao Nianxi saw the TV screen had switched to another scene. She pouted angrily. It's all your fault. I missed the show. Who did Daddy leave with in the end? She had no idea where he went. The more Xiao Nianxi thought about it, the angrier she got. She found Su Yanxi even more annoying now. It was all his fault for making her miss the clue. Tears welled up in Xiao Nianxi's eyes. Suddenly, she started to sob quietly. Su Yanxi watched his sister cry on a dime. He thought she was sad about turning into a child, so he quickly tried to comfort her. Sis, don't be sad. No matter how much it costs, I'll do my best to cure you. If not, after our parents pass, I'll take care of you. He patted his chest, promising with loyalty. Who asked you to take care of me? And who's your sister? My daddy wouldn't have such an ugly child. Xiao Nianxi wiped her tears while complaining about how ugly Su Yanxi was. That comment really stung. Su Yanxi's good mood was completely ruined by the little brat. He exclaimed in surprise, you think I'm ugly? Ugly people make trouble. If you weren't ugly, why dress up like this to fool people? Xiao Nianxi answered confidently and righteously. Su Yanxi was left speechless again. Actually, he wasn't ugly. He looked about 60 or 70% like Su Wanqing. You could say he was handsome, but after a night of drinking, his hair and clothes were a mess. However, from this little girl, he learned an important piece of information. She wasn't his sister. Since she wasn't his sister, he didn't have to be afraid of her. So he mustered up his courage. He fired off 3 questions in a row. If you're not my sister, then who are you? Why do you look so much like my sister? And how did you end up in my sister's apartment? Xiao Nianxi couldn't be bothered to look at him. She was still angry about missing who Daddy left with. Idiot, your sister is my mommy. Of course I can stay in her apartment. Her words were dripping with disdain. Sister, mommy, so you're my sister's daughter? Su Yanxi was shocked and stammered. You finally got it right. Your brain is starting to work. Xiao Nianxi looked up at the side in exasperation. She threw back a calm man. That was mildly insulting to Su Yanxi. Su Yanxi finally understood the sarcasm. He put on the airs of an elder. How dare you talk to me like that? You're as sharp-tongued as your mom. Be careful, or no boys will lie you. Besides, I'm your elder. How did your father raise you? You have no manners at all. Remember, from now on, you have to call me uncle. And treat me with respect. Got it? Mentioning her father made Xiao Nianxi angry. Su Yanxi was asking for trouble. Seeing that Xiao Nianxi ignored him and kept crying, it broke his uncle heart. Su Yanxi plopped down next to her. He asked carefully, why are you crying? Did I do something wrong? Tell me, and I'll change. Oku? Su Yanxi's voice was very gentle, afraid of scaring the little girl again. It's all your fault for blocking the show. Mommy is gone. Xiao Nianxi almost said Daddy was gone, but she didn't want this dumb uncle to know about Daddy, afraid he'd cause trouble for Daddy, so she changed it to Mommy. Su Yanxi thought it was nothing serious, just crying over a TV show. He couldn't help but find it funny. Kids will be kids. It's natural to be attached to your parents. This showed that his niece loved her. Sister, my sister must love her. You two have a great bond. Don't cry, Nianxi. Uncle will help you find her. Let's first see what show it was. Su Yanxi grabbed a tissue. He wiped Xiao Nianxi's tears and snot, then picked up the remote to check the viewing history. Seeing it was an entertainment show, he laughed. So our little Nianxi was watching this show. Uncle can log into their website and find the full live replay. Do you want to watch it? Xiao Nianxi nodded seriously, indicating she did, even though she didn't plan to see Daddy yet. She still needed to know where he went, since our little Nianxi wants to watch. Let's open it. Su Yanxi patiently opened the phone EP and cast it to the TV. Xiao Nianxi saw the picture on screen. She kept directing him to fast forward until the scene froze on 2 women pulling a man. She quickly said, stop, stop, stop. I was just at this part. Su Yanxi understood immediately. He pressed play from there. The two stared at the TV screen. The room fell into dead silence. Oh my god, what is he seeing? His sister, who usually avoided men, was publicly fighting with Miss Chen over a man. Was this really his sister? Su Yanxi was stunned by the scene. He couldn't say a word. Xiao Nianxi first looked at the man on screen. Her clear eyes were full of joy and anticipation. Daddy is the most handsome. I hope I can see Daddy soon. Su Yanxi snapped out of his SOC. He turned to see Xiao Nianxi's eyes sparkling. Looking so excited, he followed her gaze and saw the man being pulled by 2 women. He couldn't help but tease. You're just a little kid. Seeing a handsome guy makes you drool. Have some dignity, will you? Xiao Nianxi shot Su Yanxi a look. Not wanting to waste words, she ignored him. Her gaze shifted to the strange woman holding Daddy's left arm. Her face darkened. She asked calmly, who is this woman? There were only 2 people in the living room. Su Yanxi naturally thought Nianxi was asking him. Without thinking, he answered casually. She's Miss Chen from the Chen family, Chen Mayan, your mommy's classmate. Xiao Nianxi thoughtfully watched their interaction. Their relationship doesn't seem good. Smart little Nianxi. You noticed that too. Su Yanxi praised her profusely and gave her a thumbs up. Are they enemies or rivals? They look like enemies. Xiao Nianxi continued to probe. Our Su family and the Chen family have been friends for generations. They grew up together and went to the same school. They were inseparable best friends. But after they went to college, I heard they both fell for the same man, Wen Jingran. 7 years ago, Wen Jingran went abroad to study. My sister married that man, Lu Qinyuan. Chen Mayan completely broke ties with my sister. When Xiao Nianxi heard her say, that man, Lu Qinyuan, her eyes turned sharp, cold as a blade. She shot a glare at Su Yanxi. Su Yanxi felt a chill down his spine. He asked weakly, did I say something wrong? Xiao Nianxi glared at him proudly but said nothing. Su Yanxi thought for a long time, but couldn't figure out what he said wrong. He thought, this kid has the same temper as her sister. Unpredictable. Su Yanxi had to make small talk. Kid, what's your name? Xiao Nianxi? Xiao Nianxi answered him politely. Su Yanxi went along with it. The name Xiao Nianxi is really nice. Did your father give it to you? Det, Xiao Nianxi said, a proud look on her face. Su Yanxi thought Xiao Nianxi must love her father very much. That's why she naturally showed such happiness. He really wanted to know who the father raising Xiao Nianxi was, so he started to fish for information. Xiao Nianxi's daddy is awesome. What's your daddy's name? When Xiao Nianxi heard the last part of Su Yanxi's question, alarms went off in her head. Uncle was trying to trick her. She wasn't going to fall for it. She reached out her chubby little hand and crooked her finger at Su Yanxi. Su Yanxi thought she was going to tell him. He quickly leaned in, but Xiao Nianxi shouted in his ear, no comment. Su Yanxi quickly pulled his head back. Rubbing his ear, he complained, Xiao Nianxi, you almost deafened me. You're way too clever. You're a met for your mommy. Trying to get useful info out of her is way too hard. Xiao Nianxi stuck her tongue out at Su Yanxi, looking smug. Serves you right for trying to outsmart me. You little brat. I'll get you. Su Yanxi raised his hand, pretending to hit her. He was just threatening her. He didn't actually want to hit her. Just then, Luma came back from shopping and saw this. She rushed over in a few quick steps and shielded Xiao Nianxi behind her. Young master, Xiao Nianxi is still little. Don't scare her. Even the maid was now protecting this little girl. Seeing Luma's reaction, Su Yanxi was sure Xiao Nianxi was his sister's child. He smiled sheepishly and rubbed his nose, explaining, Luma, you're overthinking it. I'm just playing with my niece. Luma figured the young master wouldn't dare to openly go against the eldest miss. She looked down at Xiao Nianxi, suddenly saw her eyes were red, with traces of tears still on her face. She was shocked. Xiao Nianxi, why are you crying? Let's go to the bedroom. Oku. Luma didn't feel safe leaving them alone together anymore, thinking that during her absence, the young master had made Xiao Nianxi cry. She kept winking at Xiao Nianxi, but Xiao Nianxi wasn't having it. I'm not tired. I still need to watch Daddy's movements. There was no way she was leaving the TV. Besides, with an uncle this dumb, who knows who's bullying who? Luma, rest assured, I won't bully Xiao Nianxi. She's our family's treasure. Su Yanxi raised his hand in a pledge. That's good. The eldest miss repeatedly told me before she left to make sure I take good care of Xiao Nianxi and not let her get hurt. Luma breathed a sigh of relief. She deliberately brought up Su Wanqing to keep Su Yanxi in line. Sure enough, Su Yanxi sat up straight. He dismissed Luma. Luma, go to your work. We're still watching TV. Then I'll go prepare lunch for you. Seeing her threat worked, Luma headed to the kitchen. The eldest miss repeatedly told me she must really lop Xiao Nianxi. If I just stick close to Xiao Nianxi, I'll be able to get anything I want from the eldest miss. Su Yanxi thought this over. He then put on a flattering smile and buttered up Xiao Nianxi. Xiao Nianxi, what do you want to eat? What do you want to drink? Cola, chips, burgers, fried chicken, fries. Xiao Nianxi listed all the things she'd wanted to eat before, but mommy wouldn't let her. Su Yanxi was taken aback. You want to eat all that? Oku, I'll go get them. He scurried off to his room like a loyal dog. He could order burgers, fried chicken, and fries on Lai. He had cola and chips in his room. Only Xiao Nianxi was left in the living room. Finally, she had some peace and quiet. She focused on the TV screen, watching the two women constantly pulling at her daddy. In the end, Daddy got a bit angry. He shook off both their hands and walked out alone, pulling his suitcase. Just then, a crowd surged out of the exit, running towards them. It must have been fans chasing a big star. There were too many people. The scene was too chaotic. It blocked the two women from chasing her daddy. Her daddy quickly hailed Attack 11, got in, and drove off. The rest of the content was about interviewing the star and fan interaction. Xiao Nianxi had no desire to watch anymore. She turned off the TV. At least Daddy didn't choose another woman. Daddy is mine alone. Xiao Nianxi muttered to herself. Xiao Nianxi, what are you saying? Su Yanxi came downstairs with a cola in one hand and chips in the other. Xiao Nianxi stretched and yawned. Nothing. The show's over. So boring. How about uncle takes you out to play? Su Yanxi really liked this niece, but Xiao Nianxi looked disgusted. She looked Su Yanxi up and down and flatly refused. No. Embarrassing. That completely crushed Su Yanxi's sincere heart. Su Yanxi was confused. Why not? Xiao Nianxi shrugged. As she went upstairs, she said, because I think you're ugly. Look at me. I'm adorable. Taking a country bumpkin lie you out. People would definitely laugh. Su Yanxi watched her small back as she said such hurtful words. He was so angry he wanted to hit someone. He gritted his teeth. Where am I ugly? Where am I a bumpkin? He thought, how dare she call me a country bumpkin? So infuriating. Xiao Nianxi stopped at the top of the stairs, turned to look at her uncle, who was over 10 years older, and lectured him like an old pro. You're ugly from head to toe. If you really want to go out with me, it's not impossible. First, change all your clothes, fix your hair, and wash your face. Come find me when you're ready. Otherwise, no deal. With that, Xiao Nianxi walked upstairs on her short legs, imitating Su Wanqing's manner. Su Yanxi looked down at his clothes and touched his hair. He thought it looked fine. Not as bad as Xiao Nianxi said, as if remembering someone else was home. He quickly turned and went into the kitchen. Luma, am I really as ugly as Xiao Nianxi says? Luma was hiding in the kitchen, watching their interaction. She felt very relieved. Maybe the one who could change the young master was Xiao Nianxi. For the past 6 years, the young master had been acting out, arguing with the madam at every turn, doing the opposite of what she said, deliberately going against her. Only the eldest miss's words he would listen to a little. So for the past 6 years, he had been working with the miss at the company. Hearing Su Yanxi ask her, Luma nodded, still wearing a kind smile. Young master, you really don't look good like this. Listen to Xiao Nianxi. Change your style, and you'll be very handsome. Fine, since you both say so, I'll give it a try. Su Yanxi, wanting to go out to eat with his niece and show off that he had a little sidekick, was willing to give up his so-called individuality. He trotted upstairs to shower and change. I took advantage of the chaos at the airport to escape. I saw Attack 11 waiting at the entrance. I immediately opened the door and got in. I saw Su Wanqing and Qin Mayan walking towards me. I said anxiously, driver, hurry up. I'm in a hurry. The driver looked back at me. He laughed. All right, young man, hold on tight. He stepped on the gas. The car sped off in an instant. Su Wanqing and Qin Mayan ran out and got a face full of exhaust fumes. Dr. Liu, wait for me. You don't know anyone here. Where are you going? Chen Mayan watched the TAC 11 disappear. She quickly turned and walked towards her car. What did you call him? Dr. Liu, what's his full name? Su Wanqing blocked Qin Mayan's path, her sharp eyes fixed on her, trying to get the answer she wanted. Su Wanqing, are you crazy? If it weren't for you, he wouldn't have fled like that. Qin Mayan pushed Su Wanqing aside and left without looking back. Eldest miss, maybe it's just a coincidence. Lin Zhou whispered beside her. Go check the passenger info for all today's flights immediately. See if there's anyone named Lu Chenyuan. Su Wanqing said with a dark face. Lin Zhou checked the time. He reminded her gently, eldest miss, our flight is about to take off. Norway can't wait. We need to prioritize. How about canceling the flight and contacting Chu Xian? Let him handle the branch office. Su Wanqing pinched the bridge of her nose. A hint of unreadable emotion flickered in her eyes. She was always observant. She rarely made mistakes. That man just now, she was 80% sure he was the one she was looking for. Lin Zhou, seeing she was determined, said nothing more. He turned and walked back into the airport terminal. On the overpass in Haishur, Attack 11 sped along. I kept looking back through the rear window, afraid someone was following me. The driver noticed my distinguished air in the rearview mirror, but I looked flustered. He thought I was some minor celebrity, being harassed by sightseeing fans, so he comforted me. Don't worry, young man. I'm not bragging, but my driving skills are top-notch. If you think it's not fast enough, I can speed up. I looked back again. Seeing no cars following, I let out a sigh of relief. I took off my mask and glasses, revealing a very handsome face. Thanks, driver. No need to go too fast. This speed is fine. The driver saw my real face and understood immediately. Just as he had guessed. Young man, where are you headed? I don't have a place to stay yet. I asked the driver, are you a local? You should know which hotel is safe and comfortable. Go to the Isekai'd Grand Hotel. It's a 5-star hotel. The environment is comfortable and safety is guaranteed. The driver spoke enthusiastically from the driver's seat, but I became wary. I asked casually, driver, are you very familiar with that hotel? Do you stay there often? The driver smiled sheepishly and explained, I'm familiar with it, but I don't have the money to stay in such a fancy hotel. My wife works as a cleaner there. I've been there a few times, so I know it. I see. Then let's go to that hotel. My guard dropped. I decided to have the driver take me to the Isekai'd Grand Hotel. The driver was a chatterbox. He had been talking non-stop since I got in the car. We soon arrived at the hotel entrance. I got out, grabbed my suitcase, and went to the front desk. I booked a suite and got the key card. I went to the room. Seeing it was clean, comfortable, and luxurious, I was very satisfied. I put my suitcase in the master bedroom and prepared to open my computer to search for Xiao Nianxi's whereabouts. Just then, my phone rang. I took out my phone and answered. A childish voice came from the other end. Daddy, did you come to China? I miss you so much. Hearing my daughter's soft, whiny voice, my anger immediately softened. My tone became gentle. You finally called me. Where are you? Daddy will come get you. Daddy, give me 2 more days. I'll get that cheating mommy sent to jail. Then I'll come find you. Okay? On the other end, Xiao Nianxi tried to convince me. She almost succeeded. If I backed out now, I'd feel like I lost too much. I wasn't willing. No, my tone was full of threat. If you don't listen to Daddy, Daddy will get angry, and the consequences will be serious. Just thinking about that moment in the airport lobby, Su Wanqing stood before me with such authority. That pressure suffocated me. I thought I had moved past the shadow of 6 years ago, but facing Su Wanqing in that moment, I realized I hadn't moved on at all. I have to take the child and leave here as soon as possible. Su Wanqing is an extremely perceptive person. After this encounter, she'll definitely be suspicious. She'll start investigating too. Soon, I'll be exposed to the public. Seeing how firm I was, Xiao Nianxi reluctantly agreed. Okay. Seeing Nianxi give in, a triumphant smile curled at the corner of my mouth. I pretended to be aloof and asked, spit it out. Should I come find you, or will you come to me? Daddy? I'm still a little bee-bye. It's dangerous for me to take a car alone. Aren't you afraid your precious bee-bye will run into human traffickers? Xiao Nianxi argued stubbornly on the other end of the phone. Now you're scared? When you flew back to China from country and all by yourself, why weren't you scared then? I wouldn't let him off easy. I didn't plan to let him off easily. I wanted to teach him a lesson he wouldn't forget. Daddy, I was wrong. I won't do it again. Xiao Nianxi dragged out his words, using his ultimate weapon. I always lose to his whining and acting cute. Whenever he drags out his words, my heart instantly softens into a puddle. Fine, I'll come get you. Speaking of which, where do I find you? There's this huge amusement park called Little Rascal. Daddy, you know it? Xiao Nianxi had never been to this amusement park. He'd only seen it in a commercial on TV. He thought it was famous, so everyone must know it. Wait, Uncle said he'd take me out to play, so let's go there. That way, Daddy could find him easily. He could also use the crowd to slip away without anyone noticing. Uncle and Daddy could go together. It was a win-win plan. I quickly opened my laptop. I searched for the address of Little Rascal Amusement Park. It wasn't far from my hotel. It would take about 20 minutes to walk there. I estimated the time for Nianxi. Then I'll wait for you at the gate at 1 p.m. Be there or be square. You better not stand me up, otherwise, when I find you, I won't go easy on you. I warned Xiao Nianxi again, just to be safe. I know, Daddy. You're so naggy. Before I could say goodbye, Xiao Nianxi hung up the phone in a hurry. I looked at my phone, feeling helpless. I knew my daughter best. She's a clever little thing, very slippery. If I didn't go along with her, I wouldn't find her easily. For me right now, the best solution was to act fast and take Xiao Nianxi away. The reason Xiao Nianxi hung up so quickly was because there was a knock at the door. She didn't want mommy's people to know she was talking to Daddy. Xiao Nianxi, what are you doing? Uncle's coming in. Su Yanxi pushed the door open. He walked up to Xiao Nianxi. He even struck a pose. I'm all ready. What do you think? Xiao Nianxi's eyes widened. Her mouth hung open. She stared at her uncle. She was so shocked she couldn't snap out of it for a while. Su Yanxi was wearing a pink t-shirt. He was tall with long legs. He looked like a completely different person. From now on, you have to dress like this. No more bad behavior. Got it? Xiao Nianxi spoke like a little adult. She gave a serious order. Su Yanxi saw satisfaction in Xiao Nianxi's eyes. She smiled too. As long as her little niece was het pie, she would wear anything. So, do you want to go out and play with Uncle? Su Yanxi invited her again. Let's eat first. Then can you take me to Little Rascal Amusement Park? Xiao Nianxi decided to fill her stomach before leaving. She wouldn't go against her own stomach. Okay, whatever you say, Xiao Nianxi. Su Yanxi gently ruffled her fluffy hair. He felt overjoyed. He took Xiao Nianxi's hand and walked downstairs together. They reached the first floor. Su Yanxi shouted towards the kitchen. Luma, don't cook for me and Xiao Nianxi. We're going out for lunch. Luma hurried out of the kitchen. She hesitated. She didn't dare let Su Yanxi take Xiao Nianxi away easily. Young master, maybe you should call the eldest miss and ask for permission. Ask for what? She's my niece. What's wrong with me taking her out for a meal? With that, she ignored Luma. She pulled Xiao Nianxi and walked straight out the door. Young master, Xiao Nianxi. When Luma chased after them, Su Yanxi had already started the car. He drove off in his Ferrari. Luma watched the departing sports car and sighed helplessly. As if remembering something, she quickly turned back into the apartment. She fumbled for her phone. She dialed Su Wanqing's number. Su Wanqing was waiting at the airport for Linzhou's results. Just then, her phone rang. She answered directly. What's up? Luma's urgent voice came through the phone. Eldest miss, today, the young master came back and took Xiao Nianxi away. He said he wanted to treat her to a meal. I couldn't stop him. Su Wanqing's temples throbbed a few times. Her tone was not good. I know. She hung up the phone directly. She then found Su Yanxi's number and called, but no one answered. Eldest miss, what's wrong? Linzhou came back from his investigation. He happened to see Su Wanqing with a dark face. She was calling over and over again. He thought something big had happened at the company. That brat Su Yanxi. He took Nianxi out to eat. How did your investigation go? Su Wanqing wasn't too worried about Su Yanxi's whereabouts. As long as he swiped his card, her phone would automatically show the information. What she wanted to know most was everything about me. There was indeed a male passenger named Lu Chenyuan. He landed here at 9 a.m. this morning. He was on a flight from country N. Linzhou reported the information he found. He also opened a 6DO of all passengers disembarking from the plane Lu Chenyuan was on. gone. In the 60 people were slowly coming out of the cabin. The last one out was a tall figure. He was leisurely breathing in the fresh air. Then he took out a large pair of sunglasses and a mask and put them on. He completely covered his face. The frame froze at that moment. When Su Wanqing heard the name Lu Chenyuan, her body trembled slightly. That familiar figure and that face she'd recognize even in ashes. A hidden rage burned within her. No wonder she felt a strange familiarity when she saw that man in sunglasses. No wonder that man couldn't look her in the eye and finally ran away. It was Lu Chenyuan. Su Wanqing's emotions were incredibly complex. This man had faked his death for 6 years, making her lie a zombie for 6 years. But he was alive and well in this world, carefree and glamorous. Now he suddenly appears and deliberately avoids her, not wanting to face her directly. Were all the past events just fleeting clouds? Doesn't he remember? Whatever the reason, this time she wouldn't let go, even if she had to imprison him by her side. Su Wanqing suddenly walked quickly outside. She kept giving orders. Find out where Lu Chenyuan is staying. I need the results as soon as possible. Su Wanqing took 2 steps. Suddenly, Xiao Nianxi's aggrieved expression flashed in her mind. She added, send another sample for the paternity test to Zhang Long. Have him do it personally. Zhang Long was the Su family's private doctor. He was also a close friend of Su Wanqing's grandfather. If he was involved, it meant Grandpa Su would eventually find out what Su Wanqing was doing. Knowing it was me returning to the country, she was 100% sure of Xiao Nianxi's background. The reason she deliberately made a big deal out of it was to reveal the child's existence to the entire Su family. Lin Zhou, while chasing after Su Wanqing, wrote down all her instructions. Su Wanqing got into a black Rolls-Royce. A text message alert sounded. It was a consumption record from a hot pot restaurant in the city center. Eldest miss, where are we going? The driver sat in the driver's seat. He asked for his bot's opinion. Su Wanqing glanced at the time and said calmly, how long to get to the city center? It's rush hour, so traffic might be bad. About 40 minutes. The driver estimated based on experience. As fast as possible. Su Wanqing simply uttered 2 words. She closed her eyes and pretended to sleep, saying nothing more. Det, eldest miss. The driver felt the atmosphere in the car was especially oppressive today. He drove carefully, afraid of making any mistakes, and angering the person in the back. Lin Zhou sat in the passenger seat. He first called Chu Xin, informing him to go to the Norway branch. Then he contacted his people to find out where I was staying. The phone beeped several times in a row. Su Wanqing lifted her eyelids and glanced at her phone. All were consumption records of Su Yanxi buying limited edition dolls. She didn't want to bother with them. But when she saw the word doll, her gaze lingered on the message for 2 more seconds. At least he has some conscience. He knows to buy his niece a gift. Originally, Su Yanxi's consumption records wouldn't be sent to Su Wanqing's phone. But in the past year, her younger brother's rebellious behavior had gotten worse, so she had to link his phone number. Seeing his consumption records, she could know where he was and what he was doing, and send bodyguards to find him in time to prevent him from falling into danger. Lin Zhou heard the bot's phone ringing continuously. He asked considerately, eldest miss, is the young master acting up again? Do you need me to handle it? The bot's phone number was set up by Lin Zhou himself. Harassing messages and calls were automatically blocked. In recent years, whenever the bot's phone rang, it was mostly related to the young master. The old-timers around President Su were used to it. Su Wanqing didn't care. She threw her phone aside. No need. Let him mess around. When he's tired of playing and tired of buying, he'll come home on his own. Lin Zhou was stunned, unable to react for a long time. The bot was acting very strangely today. It seemed the only person who could affect the eldest miss was that man. Thinking this, Lin Zhou smiled helplessly. He lowered his head and started handling the tasks Su Wanqing had given him. The driver managed to cut the 40-minute drive down to half an hour. The car stopped at the entrance of Century City, the most prosperous place in the city. Su Wanqing and Lin Zhou got out of the car. I walked inside, took a quick shower, and changed into casual sportswear. I walked out of the hotel. Anyone who didn't know would think I was a college student. I walked to Little Rascal Amusement Park. I looked down at the time. There was still half an hour until my meeting with Xiao Nianxi. I looked around. I noticed a coffee shop not far away. I walked in and bought a cup of coffee. I sat by the window. It felt like I was back in my college days. I remember I used to hate the heat. Jiang Yu and I would often go to the school coffee shop to enjoy the air conditioning. Su Wanqing and I also met and got to know each other in a college coffee shop. We fell in love. Suddenly, a pleasant voice broke my thoughts. Brother, can I sit across from you? I looked up in surprise at the person in front of me. A girl who looked about 16 or 17. She stood nervously beside me, looking at me with hopeful eyes. Seeing her eager look, I couldn't bear to refuse. Sure, as long as you don't bother me. The girl smiled sweetly, revealing a set of white, neat teeth. Brother, don't worry. I'm very quiet. I definitely won't disturb you. With that, she sat down in the empty seat across from me. Then she propped her chin on her hand. Her big eyes blinked without stopping, staring at my face. Brother, has anyone ever told you that you're so handsome you don't look like you're from this world? I didn't even look at her. I didn't take a child's words to heart at all. I casually replied, you're the first, little sister. I lop your cold attitude. Brother, can you be my boyfriend? The girl looked at me with deep affection. I was just taking a sip of coffee. Hearing her confession, I was so startled I spat out the coffee. I coughed twice and looked around. Luckily, no one nearby was looking our way. Otherwise, they'd think I was luring a minor. Do you even know how old I am before confessing? Brother, I don't care how old you are. I only believe in fate. Fate brought us together here. And I lie men a few years older than me, mature and charming. Please, brother, just say det to being my boyfriend. I'll lop you so much. The girl spoke in a soft, sweet voice. Lie a little kitten. She kept pestering me. I looked at her with amusement. I felt a sudden urge to tease her. Little sister, are you even an adult? And you're already confessing to people? Brother, in 2 months, I'll be 18 by Korean age. The girl said with certainty. Afraid I wouldn't believe her, she took out her ID card. She put it in front of me. Brother, look, and I'm a freshman at High City No. 1 high school. I have excellent grades. In 2 years, I'll be in college. I won't make you wait long. Once I'm in college, we can get married first, and after I graduate, we can think about having a BY. What do you think? What? I was completely dumbfounded. A little kid who hasn't even grown up yet, and she's already thinking so far ahead. The woman sitting behind me had a face so dark it could drip ink. I can't believe it. After 6 years, his charm hasn't faded at all. Now he's even attracting a minor. If she didn't want to see how he would answer, she would have thrown that girl out. Xiao Nianxi and Lin Zhou couldn't help but shiver. They were frozen by the cold aura emanating from the woman in front of them, but neither dared to make a sound. They silently sweated for the man being hit on. I had no idea danger was approaching. I stared at the birth date on the ID card and nodded. I said seriously, you're not lying, and your plan is good, but I can't accept a little sister who's a dozen years older than my daughter as my girlfriend, and I can't give my daughter a wet behind thy ears kid as a stepmother. At least he knows to refuse in time, and he doesn't forget about his daughter. This realization slightly eased Su Wanqing's expression behind him. Brother, you're so young. How could you have a child? I know, you must be lying to me, testing my sincerity, right? The girl looked unconvinced and got a bit emotional. Xiao Nianxi was afraid this girl chasing her daddy would say something even more shocking and provoke the mommy in front of her. She quickly got up from her seat and stood right in front of me. Why can't he have a child? Xiao Nianxi put her hands on her hips. She glared at the girl angrily. See clearly, I am his daughter. The girl followed the voice. She saw the little milk ball standing behind me, glaring at her fiercely. She didn't back down and retorted, you're lying. How could you be his child? Kids shouldn't lie. Go home and find your parents. Don't bother us here, or I'll beat you up. I'm not lying. Don't I look like my daddy? Bring it on if you dare. We'll see who beats who. Xiao Nianxi wasn't scared at all. She puffed out her little chest to protect her daddy from being taken away. She wouldn't back down. Su Wanqing, sitting motionless behind, was very satisfied with Xiao Nianxi's behavior. The girl reached out to hit Xiao Nianxi. Suddenly, she saw me staring at her with a threatening warning. Her hand froze in midair, completely intimidated. She stood there, unable to react for a long time. Brother's eyes are so scary. Like he could eat someone. Xiao Nianxi took 2 steps forward. She looked at me with pitiful eyes. Daddy, who told you to go out dressed like this? You're a man with a daughter. Can't you dress older and uglier? Look at all the weirdos you're attracting. I'm so tired of blocking your bad luck every day. It's exhausting, you know? Are you trying to tire your kid to death? I looked down at my clothes and couldn't help but laugh. So, tell me, what exactly do you want me to wear? I think a white lab coat is perfect. Xiao Nianxi answered honestly. She thought her daddy looked sacred and authoritative in a white lab coat. Everyone would call him Dr. Lu. Dr. Lu was very respectful. I held back my laughter and said, that's a work uniform. You can't expect your daddy to wear a work uniform every day, can you? Otherwise, people will say you're abusing your daddy and not letting him buy clothes. I think my daughter's suggestion is great. From now on, you're only allowed to go out in your white lab coat. Suddenly, Su Wanqing's voice came from behind. It scared me half to death. My mind went blank. I couldn't snap out of it for a long time. Damn, when did this woman show up? How did she end up with Xiao Nianxi? Was it a coincidence? No, she just said my daughter. That means she already knows Xiao Nianxi's background. My face instantly turned pale. I didn't dare to think about what else might happen. I never thought that after all my efforts to hide my identity and living in a foreign country for 6 years, I still couldn't escape her grasp, falling into the Su family's den of tigers. Husband, it's not nice of you to leave me and our daughter to date a little girl, is it? Are you still mad at your wife for not spending enough time with you lately? Before I knew it, Su Wanqing was standing in front of me, one hand on the table, the other on the back of my chair, trapping me completely. She leaned down and whispered in my ear. Her warm breath hit my earlobe. It startled me so much I snapped back to reality. I looked at her beautiful face, so close, in terror. I stammered. Misunderstanding. I don't know her. Is that so? Su Wanqing said calmly. Beneath her calm eyes hid a storm. My chest was heaving. I took a few deep breaths to calm myself down. I forced myself to stay calm and replied, but I don't think I need to tell you that. President Su, I don't think we're that close. Su Wanqing's voice was laced with gritted teeth. Not close? If we're not close, how did the child come about? I looked calm on the surface, but inside, I was on the verge of collapse. I couldn't help but turn my head away. This action clearly angered the woman in front of me. She reached out her cold fingers and gently stroked my face, then slid them down to my chin. I replied nervously, who I had a child with has nothing to do with you. Based on the timeline, Su Wanqing probably hadn't done a paternity test yet. Even if she had, the results wouldn't be out so soon. As long as I insisted Xiao Nianxi wasn't his child, she couldn't take her from me. Nothing to do with me? Don't I know the child I gave birth to 6 years ago? Su Wanqing's eyes were bloodshot. She thought to herself, this man in front of her, she had missed him for 6 whole years. She thought she had lost him forever. But it turned out it was all a lie he had designed. And now he had the nerve to say that Xiao Nianxi wasn't his child. Just thinking about it, Su Wanqing wanted to strangle this lying man. I knew Su Wanqing was very angry right now. I was terrified inside. But for Xiao Nianxi to grow up by my side, I still mustered the courage to fight back. President Su, without a paternity test, what makes you say this is your child? You took my daughter away without reason. I didn't even know. And now you're turning it around on me, saying she's your child. Su Wanqing was furious at what I said. Lu Jinyuan, you're something else. I really underestimated you. I didn't want to argue with her anymore. I glanced at Xiao Nianxi standing nearby. My eyes lit up. I braced myself and ignored the burning gaze of the woman in front of me. President Su, my daughter needs to go to the bathroom. I need to take her, I said, starting to get up. But the woman in front of me looked extremely angry. Suddenly, she shouted to someone behind her. Lin Zhou took her to the restroom. He had no intention of letting me go. It's the eldest miss. Lin Zhou quickly picked up Xiao Nianxi and left. I don't need to go to the bathroom. Before Xiao Nianxi could finish refusing, Lin Zhou covered her mouth. He picked her up and walked away, saying, Xiao Nianxi, you're in a hurry? Oku, I'll carry you now. Just hold it in. In the blink of an eye, their figures vanished from the coffee shop. I saw Lin Zhou taking Xiao Nianxi away. I shouted, Su Wanqing, where are you letting him take Xiao Nianxi? In a panic, I stood up to confront him. The girl across from me couldn't believe it. She stared at everything happening. She felt terrible. The handsome guy she'd been longing for suddenly turned into a family of 3. What made her even angrier was that child's mother was none other than her older brother's ex-girlfriend.